This tutorial is part of our Building a Python Package course, where we learn how to build, test, and automate deployment of a Python Django middleware package to the Python package index. You can watch the entire course uninterrupted, ad-free, and access updated tutorial source code and other resources from our Udemy course. Now, alternatively, you can access the course via our YouTube playlist. This features tutorials from the course. Links to the YouTube course and YouTube playlist can be found in the video description. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to initiate or start a new Django project. Just quickly before we start, do remember that you are going to need Python installed. And in addition to that, you are going to ideally have worked through the setup guides at the start of this course and have a basic understanding of what a virtual environment is, or at least how to actually start a virtual environment within your operating system. I have provided some setup guides at the start of this course, and it is well worth just practicing and just going through that process a few times to familiarizing yourself with working with the virtual environment. Although you can follow this course in any code editor you wish, it would be recommended that if you are new to development, that you follow along using the same code editor that I'm using, and that's Visual Studio Code. So first up, we're going to need some sort of project folder. I'm going to use my desktop for this. I'm going to create a new folder here, and I'm going to create a new project folder. I'm going to call that SQL. It's always the hardest part. SQL. I had an idea, and it's kind of gone. SQL Middleware. Let's call it that. Okay, there we go. So we've got a nice folder for our project, and now we can open up Visual Studio Code. Once you have started Visual Studio Code, select the Explorer option. This is just one way of doing it. You can go to the top ribbon. I know you can't see that on mine. So File, Open Folder. So select the Explorer option up top left here, and then open a new folder. Go to your desktop, select the folder we just created, press Open. We now have the project folder ready. Just trust that, and we're ready to go. So now we're ready to actually create a Django project. First thing first, we're going to need a virtual environment. We will need to open up a terminal. If you're not familiar with that, you can go to the View option. Again, you can't see my navigation bar or menu bar, but select View, and then you can see Terminal here. That will open up the terminal. You can see that there's a shortcut there. This is for Mac. For Windows, there'll be a slightly different way. So you can use the shortcut, but if you select that, the terminal window will appear, and then we can start working. First of all, creating a virtual environment. Now, don't forget there is a virtual environment setup guide at the start of this course for your particular operating system. Here I am on Mac, so I need to type in, if I can remember this, Python 3, use the M flag, and then VEMV. Now, if you're on Windows, you're just going to type in PY space -M venv. So this is referring to the application, if you like, and this is the folder that we're going to create our virtual environment within. So you can call that whatever you like, but let's just call it VEMV. A new folder will appear here. We now have our virtual environment set. So we now just need to activate our virtual environment and then work within it. So first of all, then on the Mac, I'm going to type in source and then V, and I'm going to use tab. That's just going to end the folder name there. So I then press bin, and then I need activate. Now on Windows, you're going to type in just the name of the folder, so VMV, and then scripts with a capital S, and then activate. So once you've activated, you'll see that the venv file, or the venv prefix, is provided at the start of this line here, suggesting that we're now working within our virtual environment. So now we can go ahead and pip install. So pip the Python package manager, install, and we're going ahead and install Django. Remember, that's going to be installing within the virtual environment and not in our main operating system environment, which means that we're working inside of this inside of this environment. I'm going to call it a container. So we're not necessarily installing this computer-wide, just inside of our container or our new environment that we've created here. So now we have Django installed. We can now go ahead and start a new Django project. Now I'm going to press Control K. On Windows, you can type in CLS, and that's just going to clear everything. So now I can type in Django admin. So this is a way of actually now accessing Django. so I can start a new project. I'm going to start a new project, so start project, and I'm going to give this project a name. Always the hardest part, but I'm just going to call this SQL Middleware. And then I'm going to just place it within this folder. So I'm going to use the dot here. So I'm going to work within this folder here. So those are all the steps that we need to actually start a new Django project. Now we can test this out by typing in here on the Mac, Python 3, or we don't have to in actual fact, Windows and Mac, we can just type in / manage.py and then run server. So you can see the server is running. You can see where it's located. So I can quickly just check to make sure that is working in the browser. So this is the address of where the server is currently running. So I add the address up here. Now do remember the :8000 port. And you can see that you should be presented with this screen here. The install worked successfully. Congratulations, your project has now been successfully created.